Welcome back to the Aliogana Festival of the Word. This is our Meet the Authors segment, and today with me is Deanne Whiskey-John. Hello, Deanne.
Hi, Narissa. You got it. You
So
got
good to
it.
so good to have you with us. Now let's just jump right in a bit. I want you to tell everybody who you are,
Uh-huh.
and you actually, I can hear you got a Trini accent, but guess where you
Yeah.
are? You're actually in Montserrat. So, how did
Yes.
you tell us who you are and how did you end up in Montserrat?
Oh boy, that's a long story. That might be the entire interview. But
Keep it short.
essentially, yes, essentially, I am from Trinidad and I am now serving as what we call the advanced skills teacher mentor for in the area of numeracy at the primary level. So that's how I found myself in the beautiful Emerald Isle of Montserrat.
Brilliant. So, I hope you're enjoying your time here with us.
Oh, yes.
Now, since you've been here, you've gotten quite busy because you've had a bit of time to complete a few books, and that's why
Yes.
you're actually part of the festival this year.
Yes.
Tell us about this book called Oomph.
All right. So,
How did that title come about, and what is it for? Who is it for?
okay. So, is a book that I wrote. It's basically it's designed for teachers to help them um, to build the structure for creative writing to help students who are struggling or writers in general who are struggling. Because you find that children and adults, they have their stories, but they need structure in order to write well. And so OMF was designed. I came up with it, I've used it for many years. And then I decided, why not share it with my peers, my colleagues? And that's what I decided to do, sit and write about how we take a struggling writer from ground zero to 100%, basically.
So is Oomph an acronym?
Well, initially, yes, it was supposed to be unleashing mindsets and practicing how to write. But then it was so long, I decided, let me shorten it. And then oomph comes from triumph, as in you're going to experience success.
I like that. I
Yes.
like that. Now, I would say that when it comes to creative writing, there really is a structure and an art to it. But
Yes.
lots of creative people, we often think, oh, it's when I feel like it and what I feel like
Mhm.
writing. So you're saying there's actually a craft that somebody can follow, a formula, a format that we can
Yes.
follow to help become better writers.
Yes. I am actually thinking it's a science because you see,
Mm.
for you to be creative, you need to get the non fun part out of the way, which is the structure.
Mm.
Once you have mastered the structure, then it frees up the mind to be creative, and which is why umph offers a whole brain approach. So it has the left side and the right side. One side is designed for logic. What is the logic in the writing? And the other side is the imagination. So umph creates the structure. And then you now, once you understand the structure, you are free to use your imagination. You don't have to worry because you understand the structure and you can just unleash your creative juices and produce. If you don't have the structure, you struggle because you're wondering, should I put this here? Should I put that there? But once you understand, then it frees up the brain to focus on the imagination and the creative aspect of the writing.
So, do you think that this is what you've created is good for a particular age group, or is it something that a teacher can learn for children as young as, let's say, 5 or 6, versus
You
somebody in secondary school?
It can be used for any struggling writer, and
Mm.
there is no restriction. Now, in the book, I actually have lesson plans with objectives. So it takes you step by step because when I first started, usually I would get children coming to me like just before exams, and it would be a rush. Actually, when I came up with this strategy, it was because I was doing a rotation. I was teaching Caribbean studies, and I used to get students for 8 to 10 sessions, no more. And in that time, they would come to me and they could not write. an essay and they needed to write the essay to get 30 points. So I developed that formula so that within the rotational period of 8 to 10 weeks, I could move them from not being able to write to getting 30 marks on their essays. And then I use that same formula for oomph. So it is designed, it can be used for any age group, and you can tweak the activities, but the structure remains the same.
All right. Now, you also created a couple of the books, which I almost want to say are a complement to this because it's
Yes,
actually using modeling what you have done
yes,
to teach something else. Tell us about these other two books that you've created and how you use the OMP formula
yes.
to develop them.
Okay, so I decided I would want to do, because now I am supporting teachers in the area of numeracy. And even before I got here, I had the idea to do a series called Caribbean Math Stories. And the idea behind it is that we normally nurture our children from the womb. We're reading stories. But even as we read those stories, there is math in there, there's a numeracy in the literacy. And I felt that we weren't capitalizing on that. So those books, those stories were designed to create an awareness among persons, general population, teachers, whoever they are, that while you are building your stories, there is numeracy in the literacy and vice versa. And so we shouldn't just focus on one aspect of the story. So I use the basically, and I would choose a very simple day-to-day experience. Like the first book is on mango chow, and in that book, the main character basically is just traveling home with his friends, and the experience about stoning down some mangoes or finding mangoes and what you can do with it and so on. And this is a very common experience, and I've shown how you can build a story based on a simple day-to-day experience and virtually, I don't want to use the word milk it, but that's what I tell people, as in extract from it the numeracy in the story. So I'm using something that is very familiar to people in the Caribbean, storytelling, to teach math, essentially.
Brilliant. Now, like you said, it's very common in the Caribbean. And
Yes.
I think because we actually do it so naturally, we actually don't think of it as a skill. It's not necessarily seen as very, very valuable. So, how are you going to go about helping teachers to see that they actually do have the ability to help their students become much better writers, better mathematicians, as the case may be?
Okay. Well, I'm encouraging my teachers, and anyone who wants to build that aspect, even people who are authors and they want to write and they are confused about structure, to just get themselves a copy. And I'm willing to do workshops with persons or coach them, because as I said, everybody has a story. What prevents people from sharing their story is not knowing how to structure it. So, even in storytelling, to be a good storyteller, you need to understand, have you ever heard persons tell a joke, but it is not funny? And then someone else takes that same joke and they can tell you what's a punchline. They
Right.
have structure. They know what to say when and how to sequence it. So what we want to do essentially is encourage teachers, those who would be willing to try something new, a more structured approach. It's very difficult to tell children right. To just tell
Yeah.
them right, unless they're naturally gifted in storytelling, it's difficult. They spend more time wondering, what should I put here? What should and it's difficult. And I could tell you, my students, when they get the aha moment of how to write, there's no stopping them.
That's
There is
brilliant.
no stopping them.
Okay. So, Deanne, you are going to be back with us again for the literary festival. People are going to be able to check out the timeline to see when you're going to teach the live workshop,
Yes.
or maybe you'll catch the replay. So, we tell everybody else what other products you have, how we'll be able to get in touch with you, and what we can look forward to in that workshop that you have coming up.
Okay, so in the workshop coming up, I'm going to give an overview of the strategy. I won't be able to go in depth. But what I would like persons, those two persons who would like to take um, the opportunity to try something new and to try a more structured approach, I encourage them to purchase the book online. It's available at the link that you're seeing, Linktree at Denki2. And you can get a copy of Oomph. And I'm willing to coach persons and help you to utilize the strategy. It's not going to be very difficult. Whether you're a parent, whether you're a teacher, everything is clear. You have inside of it the lessons, the objectives, the worksheets, the charts, everything that you need. It's like a one-stop shop.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
it's a
Brilliant.
one-stop shop.
So thank you so much for being with us, Deanne. Again,
You're
check the
welcome.
descriptions and the comments to get all the details about the other workshop that she will be teaching and how you can also contact her personally to get more support from her. We look forward to seeing more of you, and congratulations on the new
Thank
books.
you. Thank you.
And enjoy your time in Montserrat with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nursa. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay.
Now there's much more LitFest coming up, and we hope that you're going to stick with us. We'll be right back.